Welcome to season 4 of Simplyrobotix, the podcast. Today I'm going to be reviewing the much talked about film Encanto. All right, Encanto was directed by Byron Howard and Jaron Bush. Came out in late 2021. It's an American movie. It's a Disney ordeal. And here's the plot as written on the Disney Plus website. Encanto tells a tale of an extraordinary family, the Madrigals. You know, my R's and all that sort of stuff is going to trip on each other. Who live in the hidden mountains of Colombia in a magical house, in a vibrant town, in a wondrous, charmed place called an Encanto. The magic of the Encanto has blessed every child in the family with a unique gift of super strength to the power to heal. Every child except one, and that's Mirabel. But when she discovers that the magic surrounding the Encanto is in danger, Mirabel decides that she, the only ordinary Madrigal, might just be her exceptional family's last hope. So to start off talking about the characters, Maribel, she's, as they said in the description, unlike the rest of her family members because she doesn't have a gift. And she tries very hard not to let it get to her, but she's only 15 years old. So that's actually like a lot to ask from a teenager. And we see how that plays out throughout the film. She's a bit quirky, you know, she's vibrant. She has a lot of personality, but not in an overbearing way. I feel like she's very sweet and very charming, and she so easily reminds me of people I know. Next, we have Abuela, who also reminds me of people I know. She's the matriarch of the family, and I want to double back on that later on in the episode. Bruno, who the episode is titled after, who has a wonderful song about him. And I also think it's funny that the last episode of season 3 was Silencio Bruno, and the first episode of season 4 is, we don't talk about Bruno. So Disney, y'all got a thing for Brunos, apparently. Anywho, Bruno is Maribel's uncle that left the family because he had the visions, and doesn't matter. He had visions and they almost always came true, and they were hardly ever positive. So to not be a burden to his family and the town, he decided to leave. Next, I consider the house to be a character in all actuality because it clearly emotes, and we see later on that it is vulnerable, and I think it has its own story within this whole story, much like the human characters. And next, or last but not least, I just want to call out Antonio, who's Maribel's cousin. He's the next in line to receive a gift, and he ends up getting it, and the whole family's relieved because they're not cursed and they don't have to worry about the gift or the light or the candle and all that sort of stuff, the miracle being in jeopardy anymore. And he gets a gift to speak to animals. And because of this, it confirms too that something is actually wrong with Maribel, and that just further adds to all her teenage kind of angst and stuff like that. Antonio is an adorable Afro-Latin kid, curly hair, nice, rich, deepish brown skin, and is just insanely adorable. I almost want him right as a figure. As far as the visual style, it's a standard Disney 3D animated design. The characters are all cute and charming. They look like dolls, and they look like plushies, and they look like toys and things that you want to collect immediately. I always enjoy how Disney and Pixar portrays magic in their movies. It always feels so magical. We see a lot of sparkles and whimsical things happening, and it brings me back to my childhood and childlike nature, or it makes my inner child happy. I also, of course, want to address the way Disney handles their natural environments. They live in the countryside. It feels very earthy and warm, and it almost to a certain extent like you can smell where they are, and not in a bad way, but it just looks like it's probably so fresh smelling compared to like, you know, living in such an industrialized place like America, or the parts of America that I'm in and I frequent. Anywho, so to move forward with the storytelling, it's another musical with contributions from Lin-Manuel Miranda. And when I was watching Encanto, I also watched Vivo, and I guess that's it. And I just feel like he's the it guy for all Hispanic Latinx things. And just a tiny bit tired. I feel like he has a sound, a very distinct sound, and I am happy for him to be having his moments and to be getting paid and employing people and all that sort of stuff. I personally am a bit fatigued with musicals, animated musicals, and I love musicals. So that's my own thing to worry about. However, the songs are pretty good, you know, and my favorite thing about musicals when they're good is that they help move the story forward. They're not just happening to happen just to say you get a song in. But to me, this movie was treated, the songs were treated and everything more like a Broadway musical, right? Because I just felt like things were very like staged in a way that just would remind me of like his plays and things like that. Some of the lights, and I think about how they go about like assembling moments, and I'm just like, this is very like theatrical, you know? So to conclude some of my final thoughts, social media has pointed out that like by the end of the movie, Bruno never got his apology. Like no one in the family did. I mean, Abuela like embraced him, you know, and was like so happy to have you and whatnot, but like he definitely deserved an apology. So originally, once I finished the film, I did not feel as moved as I saw so many people on social media seem to be, and I was like, man, am I like really heartless? Like yeah, I thought the songs were good, I thought it looked good, everything like that, and I was still like snooze fest. Like I don't know, like I didn't feel sleepy or anything, like I didn't feel like I was gonna fall asleep watching it, but I was just like, it's formulaic and redundant, and I guess I have to change up the content that I'm watching so I don't become really fatigued by it. Because maybe if I wasn't watching so many Disney things at the moment, I would like, it's like cleansing your palate. Like I need to cleanse my palate. Ooh, and something I did watch, which is coming up in a future episode, definitely was a palate cleanser, and we're gonna get into that. But I believe that with all these different streaming platforms that I am paying for, I'm going to need to put a pause on animated musicals and watch some other things, watch some series. I really want to talk about series on this channel, and old and new, and help to just make me have more fun watching these things. So anywho, so to keep it forward, I actually watched the movie again before recording this, just to like see, you know, if anything happened or whatever. But overall, the movie was what I'd expect, but that's not a disappointment to me. I haven't seen anyone talk about like matriarchs and like the matriarchal journey, and how more often than not a lot of us comes from a similar family structure dynamic where the matriarch had to sacrifice like herself, her identity, her dreams and aspirations, her former life, you know, for the survival and betterment of the family. And how sometimes that because she had to sacrifice so much, she ends up hurting the family trying to protect and preserve it. And I thought that that was a really good representation and depiction of that. I cannot relate as being the matriarch and having that experience, but I just know it's something that a lot of women Hispanic women, if it's Asian women, if it's West Indian, Black women, whoever can really, really relate to. So I was very interested in seeing that, and I know that I guess an animated story about that would not be interesting, but maybe like a animated docu thing, just diving into that could be interesting. So I'm not saying that no one hasn't talked about it. I'm just saying I didn't come across it. So I wanted to make sure I brought that up in this video. But that's it. So let me know in the comments. Let me know on social media. What did you think about Encanto? What do you think about some of the things that I've pointed out? And do you have any recommendations, right? That's what I want to know. So I also need to plug that you can find me on all social media platforms at Simplyrobotix. I'm posting more to YouTube, so make sure you go over there and subscribe so you're going to keep up to date, because I'm doing also random live streams. I am working on getting the live stream situation together, so I'm not really announcing them. I'm doing just trials and learning from it and doing the next one better than the one before. You can also watch this episode on Patreon as well as past episodes. Depending on your tier, you can also check out my filmmaking vlog to see how that's going. Remember that thing I've been doing, my infamous passion project? So that's all. I am so excited about season 4. I'm looking forward to it. Oh, and I should mention, I launched a podcast planning workbook. So you can learn more about it on my website. That's simplyrobotix.com. By the time this episode comes out, I would have posted about it and all that sort of stuff. So I think that's everything. Thank you so much. I'm really excited, and I will see you soon. Bye.